The Simpsons is possibly one of the most popular animated TV shows of the past 2 decades, with 29 seasons and over 600 episodes. So it's not surprising that millions of people all around the globe treat Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa and Lil Maggie as if they were a part of their family. And throughout all these years the show's writers were always on point, shedding some satirical light on gender, racial, political, and a whole slew of other issues that have no place on TV. From time to time the same writers somehow even managed to predict the future, and that's what this list is about. I predict you'll say Simpsons did it first by the end of the article. Let me know if I were right. 1. President Donald Trump. About 10 years ago, when people used to make fun of Trump just for his looks and his giant ego, there was this Simpsons episode, in which Bart travels to the future, where Lisa becomes the president of the U.S. after Donald Trump. Funny joke has recently became a nightmare. 2. Economic crisis in Greece. About 5 years ago there was an episode, where Homer was on TV. The news ticker at the bottom of the screen said Europe puts Greece on eBay. 3 years later, boom. Greece is an economic dumpster fire. 3. Lady Gaga at the Super Bowl. In one of the episode Lady Gaga was shown suspended from a dome, and wouldn't you know at the 2017 Super Bowl she was actually tethered to the freaking dome. 4. The undying Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones have been around for decades and are still touring the world. But 22 years ago nobody could imagine that the band would even be alive, because of the heavy drug and alcohol usage. Nobody, except for the Simpsons family, of course. In one of the early seasons, Lisa and her husband lie in bed, and right above them there's a poster for the Rolling Stones 2010 tour. 5. The NSA is watching. The National Security Agency also did not manage to hide from the all-seeing eyes of the Simpsons writers. In one of the episodes we see how the U.S. government taps the phones of regular citizens. 6 years later Edward Snowden stated that the NSA keep tabs on the phone conversations of pretty much everyone. 6. The autocorrect shenanigans. The autocorrector in modern smartphones creates about as many problems as it solves. The Simpsons knew about this all the way back in 1994, when Dolph Starbim used a certain iPhone-looking device, and kept getting screwed over by the autocorrect. 7. Attack on the Twin Towers in New York. The Simpsons have traveled the world in a lot in different episodes. But their first trip to New York in 1997 became somewhat of a bad premonition. The episode featured a magazine advertising tickets for $9. With the 9 was printed next to the white Twin Towers, and a dollar sign, forming the dreaded 9/11. 4 years later. Well, you know what happened. 8. Apple Watch. Apparently, even back in 1995 the Simpsons writers had more imagination than Apple does nowadays. 22 years ago the first smartwatch were shown in one of the episodes. 15 years later, Mr. Cook capitalized on that idea and invented the Apple Watch.